So can you guys also elaborate a little bit more on some of the just concepts behind the album, some of the themes? They seem a little bit darker than some of the usual CHVRCHES themes, especially How Not to Drown and, from what we've heard so far. So yeah, can you guys elaborate a little bit on what you guys were thinking as you were sort of constructing the ideas behind this album?
This was the first album we went in with a title in mind. So Screen Violence was actually a band name that we didn't end up using. It was a proposal we had, and I think at the time we decided not to use it as the band name just because it felt a bit too retro, maybe, or calling that specific era of filmmaking and film music to mind. And we didn't want the band to be pigeonholed as that. But it was summer 2019 when we were still touring the last record, and we found this list of the band names. And I was looking at it and thought that Screen Violence felt like a bold visual aesthetic theme that maybe we could work off of. And we didn't, especially lyrically, I didn't really know what the content was going to be. I just thought it would be a good writing prompt, almost like a good jumping off point for where we would go. And I think maybe initially I thought that it would be more concept-y in the lyrics, but all the songs ended up being very personal, but with this kind of imagery we've woven throughout it. And in a way, I feel like that's better. And it just means that it's a CHVRCHES record, but it's just put in a different, slightly more specific universe. But we're not writing like concept songs about Pennywise the clown or anything like that.
Definitely.
That's an idea.
Yeah, maybe the next one. It'll just just be that.
So would you say like 80s horror definitely had a little bit of a kind of thematic impact on these songs? Like specifically, I know you shared that TikTok of, the Halloween soundtrack being such a stellar soundtrack, because it really is. Were those kind of nice musical jumping off points for you guys to reference, or maybe not?
I think so, yeah, for sure. Like, especially the instruments that are most associated with CHVRCHES, like the synths that are on a lot of our records are on the soundtracks from those films. And John Carpenter, especially, like he wrote those films, he directed those films, he made the music for those films. Like, what a talented guy, but definitely entrenched. Those kind of ideas are entrenched in this kind of album. And I guess the reason I made that stupid TikTok, because I don't like making TikToks.
Don't?
Not really. I mean, I just feel like an idiot, really, when I'm doing them.
They're so good. They're really.
Thank you. Please know that I sit down once every month and I just change my t-shirt a bunch of times and I make them all in the same day because I can.
You're supposed to make them. As far
Is it? Okay.
From
good. I thought
like a creator standpoint.
I suppose. Okay, that makes me feel better. I thought I was just supposed to be like in the moment and really enjoying these things, and I'll be like, oh, let me consult my list of ideas while I make them. But that one, I guess, is fun because tomorrow the John Carpenter remix of Good Girls comes out. So, but yeah, I feel like this record's been really blessed in a lot of ways. It seemed like it was cursed for a while there, but I think it has been incredibly blessed because we got to work with loads of people that we really admire on it, whether that's Robert Smith, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, the writer, artist, made a cover for the zine that we did. And it feels really amazing that, especially given the story of the record and the universe we're trying to put it in, to have people like John and Clive sign off on that. It feels like, okay, we're legitimized within the horror community. We're allowed.
I love that. That's great. Speaking of guests, of course, working with Robert Smith, I'm sure was amazing and probably, a bucket list thing for, I'm sure, the three of you. So what was it like working with him? He sounds amazing on this record. He sounds still, like he's 25 years old, which he's got such a timeless quality. But yeah, what was it like working with Robert Smith?
His voice is still that good live. Like I remember a few years ago, Martin and I went to see The Cure at Rose Bowl in Los Angeles, and they curated this whole day lineup. And when you hear him singing, like, they haven't changed the key of any of the songs. He can drink like a sailor and still sing like that. And I just think that that's amazing. So I'll let someone else talk about the other bit, but yeah.
Yeah. He was, the thing that really blew me away working with Robert is just how much sort of attention to detail and how much he cared about the mix and the outcome and all the kind of minutiae of what goes into sort of a final mix of a song. Like I kind of assumed there's you know, you don't really know what you're going to get when you go into a situation like that, but I assumed he would just like be, okay, here's my stuff and then see you later kind of thing. But no, he was very into sort of collaborating and working with us on the details, and it was all kind of done over email. But eventually, after we were starting to do interviews around that release of that song, we got to hang out a bit with him online, and he's very, very funny and a really lovely guy, which I hoped he would be, and you know, I wasn't disappointed.